Welcome to the Salesforce Collaborative Forecast Tool training. Before we begin, we'd like to encourage you to follow along in your Salesforce instance. If you find you are unable to follow along in your Salesforce instance due to access issues, there will be instructions on how to get your access at the end of the session. We'll start with just a little introduction as to what the Salesforce Collaborative Forecast Tool is. The goal of the Salesforce Collaborative Forecast Tool is to improve forecast quality and accuracy for SIOP reporting. SIOP is the acronym for the Sales, Inventory, and Operations Planning of the company. The tool will provide account managers and their managers a simplified visual of their sales pipeline and the ability to update most of the information in the exact same location. This will result in account managers and their managers having a clear sense of what their sales revenue will be at any given time, and to be able to spot and fix potential issues early on. Now let's view a demonstration starting with how to actually access the new forecast tool.
To access the Salesforce Collaborative Forecast Tool, click on Forecast tab on your nav bar. If you do not have Forecast tab on your nav bar, click on the pencil at the end of the navigation bar. Click on the Add More Items. Under Available Items, select All, and in the search box, type Forecast. When you see the Forecast tab appear, click on the plus by that item, click Add Nav Item, and click on Save. The Forecast tab will now appear at the end of your navigation bar. If you have a lot of tabs or a larger resolution view, you may have to click on the More tab to see the additional records or tabs that have been added. Click on the Forecast tab on your navigation bar to open the Collaborative Forecast Tool. If you are unable to add Forecast to your nav bar, there will be instructions on how to get access at the end of this session. Now, let's take a look at the Forecast Tool. You will notice that the Forecast Record Tool display contains two windows, an upper window and a lower window. The upper window contains categories and months by which you can drill down the viewable opportunities in the lower window. The definitions for the categories are as follows. Quota is not currently a field that is used by BS Project Sales. If further process does define its use, it will be programmed and announced. The closed only is showing only those opportunities that are closed won for that category. The commit forecast includes closed won and 4 closing staged opportunities. The best case includes that in the commit forecast as well as the 3 selling stage. And the open pipeline is every open opportunity that you have in that period. Clicking on the categories below for a month will allow drilling down and will open opportunities in the lower window for inline editing for the selection that was clicked on. Drilling down will be explained a little bit further along in the training. These categories are straight out of the box Salesforce. They are based on the order date field on the opportunities, not the L3 dates, and there is no customization. The lower window displays the opportunities based on the selection from the upper window. Clicking on the up and down arrow keys allows you to expand your view of the opportunities that are in this view. There are 2 forecast types or views that have been developed for use by the project sales in the forecast tool. To select your forecast type or view, click on the settings icon and select your view underneath the forecast type. The 2 views that have been created are BS Account Managers, for use by BS Account Managers, and the L3BS Forecast, which includes L3 level fields for those users that had the L3 permissions to update. For the purposes of this training, we will use the BS Account Managers Forecast view. You may also set your own forecast range to display data for the time period of your choice. To do so, click on the settings icon. Select your forecast range. Now, you can begin any period that you want. Say you want to move it out to January, and you will notice that it will automatically load a 12-month period. You can decrease that period or you can increase that period up to 15 months. Now let's start drilling down to the opportunities in your forecast view that you want to review or update. There are 3 types of drilling down: by month, by category, and by direct report. In the upper window, each month can be clicked on to display all of the opportunities within that month within your forecast for review and editing. To drill down by category, you would click on the category within each month that you want to display in the lower window. For L3 users and above, you have the ability to drill down to your direct reports, and you can do so by expanding the month, showing all of your direct report opportunities within that month in their categories, or you can actually go to their direct forecast that shows everything by clicking on their name and expanding to their record. This will then allow you to do the month and by category in their actual opportunity forecast. You can also find your direct report by clicking on your down arrow key and typing in a name. This name will then allow you to choose their opportunity forecast and take you directly there. As always, you can use the back arrow keys to go back to your opportunity forecast. Now that we know how to drill down, let's look at inline editing. The lower window consists of the fields from the opportunity record that have been identified as needing to be regularly reviewed and updated by the account managers or the opportunity owners to provide forecast information for sales, inventory, and operations planning. Some of these fields can be edited directly in this tool and some cannot. The pencil icon indicates a field that can be edited. A lock icon indicates a field that cannot be edited. There are some reasons why some of these fields cannot be edited. They may be a calculated field based on multiple fields. They may have validations surrounding some of these fields, which would cause timeout errors if those validations are not completed on the opportunity. And Salesforce itself may have some limitations surrounding a certain field. When fields are edited in the lower window, you will notice that they become highlighted. And they will stay highlighted for as long as you need to edit your fields. Once you have made your changes and you see all your highlighted fields, you can then save all of your changes, and this will update the data on your opportunities. If you leave this page for any reason before saving, you will have all the values that you've entered revert to their previous values, such as whenever I hit the cancel button. Also, for those fields that need to be updated but cannot be updated through inline editing, you will need to make them directly on the opportunity record, which you can access from the forecast page directly by clicking on the opportunity name hyperlink. Remember, if you leave the forecast page to edit an opportunity without saving your inline highlighted edits first, they will revert to their previous value. Also, once you have updated your opportunity and returned to the forecast, you will notice that the forecast itself has also been updated. We've done our best to make sure the inline editable fields are not tied to any system process validations. So as long as there are not any outstanding issues, such as missing requirements on an opportunity, you should not encounter any runtime issues or errors with making changes within the forecast tool. Please remember, if you are reviewing and updating your forecast regularly, you will not have too many changes to make at one time. You can also review and update your opportunities for the forecast via an Opportunities Record List view that has been created to replicate the views in the Collaborative Forecast tool. To see these views, go to the Opportunities Record and click the List Views down arrow key to show or search for the 2 forecast views that have been created, one for BS account managers and one for BS L3 managers. Each list has been established to contain the same fields and the same inline functionality as the fields in the forecast types in the forecast tools. These list views are designed to be used by the entire global Salesforce. Therefore, we ask that you do not make any changes to these views. If you would like to replicate one of these and modify a view for yourself, then you may clone a list as a starter and then name, create, and edit your new list to accommodate your preferences. If you would like a specific list view to be your default view when you click on Opportunities, You can pin your list view by clicking on the pin beside the selection, and then this will pin your view, and every time you open your list view, it will open the list view to what you have pinned. Within the Opportunities list view, there are also another tool. You've got to be kidding me. I got so cool. Within the Opportunities list view, there is also another tool that provides even more detail to help you in reviewing your forecast and seeing the activity of your opportunities. It is called Pipeline Inspection. This view allows a more in-depth view of opportunities for analytical purposes. To access from the Opportunities list view, click on the Pipeline Inspection button. Within this view, you can filter your view by selecting the period, and for the L3 users and above by selecting your team or a group of users to be displayed. You can also click on a summarized category to see the opportunities that are feeding that amount within the period that you have selected. Changes are displayed in red and green depending on if they have moved forward or increased in amount, or if they have been pushed out or decreased in value. You can hover over these numbers to get a history of the change as well as who performed it. There is a column in the Pipeline Inspection called Opportunity Score. The Opportunity Score will show either as high, medium, or low. The score is derived from an AI programming within Salesforce called Einstein Analytics. Whenever you hover over the Opportunity Score, it will display the AI used to determine the displayed score. AI takes into consideration historical performance within accounts and opportunities of the same parameters, the current stage, how long the opportunity has been in the current state, and the forecast probability, etc. This feature is still being fine-tuned, and the accuracy of this data will depend on how up-to-date the information is on each opportunity. Each manager should establish a cadence with their team so that this information is updated as regularly as possible. You may also notice a feature called the Favorite Flag. At the time of this recording, this feature has not been reviewed by Dematic Business for standard process use. Therefore, we are unable to advise on the role that this will play at this time. You can revert back to the Opportunities list view from the Pipeline Inspection view by clicking on the List View button in the Pipeline Inspection tool. This concludes our demo.
Now that we have demonstrated the Salesforce Collaborative Forecast tool, we'd like to provide a few tips and some additional information. Avoid updating large batches of opportunity at once. Salesforce is a tool and it has some standard processing times. Too many updates at once could exceed that allotted time. As a result, a system timeout error will occur and your changes will not be saved. We recommend making changes to your forecast in smaller drill down amounts, such as by month or by category. Also, remember that if you are reviewing and editing your forecast regularly, you will have less and less changes to make at any one given time. Make a habit of saving your changes frequently. You also still have the ability to view and edit opportunities individually. If a specific field is unavailable for inline editing in the forecast tool, you can still access that opportunity individually from the forecast tool by clicking on the opportunity name or title, which is a hyperlink to the actual opportunity record. However, please note that if you leave the forecast page to edit an opportunity without first saving your inline edited changes, the changes will revert to their previous values. Training has been developed specifically for the Salesforce Collaborative Forecast tool. It includes the Pipeline Inspection, and it is accessible from the trailhead icon in Salesforce. When you are adding a new user to the system, we ask that because onboarding tickets are not automatically identifying all the permission sets within Salesforce that a new user needs, you create a separate Remedy Force ticket requesting those specific permissions that the new user needs. Identifying a current user in the same reporting hierarchy to mirror is highly suggested and will reduce processing time. Requesting changes in reporting issues, we suggest that you submit suggestions and requests to the Salesforce Global Change Management Board by submitting a ticket in Remedy Force where it will be reviewed by the process owners. Remember that this is a global tool, and as such, all changes require global cross-functional alignment. Thank you, and happy forecasting.